The time has come, Season 7 Mythic Tier List. Which one does everyone desperately want? And who's so useless that people don't even remember the name? Let's first cover the absolute number one, the S tier choice, the mythic unique every single build wants. And with everyone, I literally mean everyone. This is the pit leaderboard, and I could click on any build here right now, and the mythic would be played by that build. You guessed right, it is the Shroud of False Death. The absolute super S tier choice. But why is the Shroud of False Death so good and everyone really wants it? This is the current chest of my rogue. It gives me 28% increased critical strike damage against frozen or stunned enemies. Sounds really good. I could replace this now through the Shroud of False Death, which gives me +1 rank to all my passive skills. Now, this is 28%. But if I got +1 rank to all my passive skills, I would get more heal, more damage reduction, more damage reduction, even more damage reduction. Then we are straight up getting another 12% more damage because of rank here. There is even more vulnerable damage coming since I'm wielding a bow. We get another 6% more damage drinking a potion, and another 4% more if we evade. And this goes on and on and on through every passive. 10% more to distant enemies, and we do all our damage to distant enemies. Perfect. Which means the Shroud of False Death easily just outperforms this aspect by far and beyond, while also giving us max life, all stats, and resource generation. The resource generation we don't really need. The other three are just great. Truly the absolute S tier item you can slap in any build, and it will always be good. The same kind of goes for Tyrael's Might though. You can technically put this in every build and it won't be bad. It's damage reduction, it's some bonus damage resistance to all elements, but it's not doing the same that the Shroud does. The Shroud truly makes the build better. This just feels like a placeholder until you get the Shroud, which kind of has me put Tyrael's not more than A tier. It is still plenty useful because it fixes all your resistance needs, and it just has you easily go into Torment 4 if you then pick it up. But as soon as you get the Shroud, you're just gonna put Tyrael's Might in the trash. I mean, I would even disenchant Tyrael's Might to get myself my second Ressource Spark and just craft the Shroud. Now to our second absolute S tier choice that you see in the pit leaderboards quite frequent, and that has to do with everyone and their mom playing ultimate skill builds. And what do ultimate skills profit the most from? How do they scale their damage the most? And that would be over more ranks. More ranks is way more damage. And that's where our good friend the Harlequin crest comes in. And obviously you don't only want the +4 ranks. It has the second most important stat, the 20% cooldown reduction, which is amazing for any ultimate based build. 26.6 charge cooldown or 40% less with a very good Harlequin crest. Now, if you pair the Shroud and the crest together though, it gets really interesting because then we're getting all our passives up that give us bonus damage, bonus ultimate skill damage, and your ultimate will get another 4 ranks too. Oh boy, I kind of like that. Now, there has been an interesting development though, because usually everyone and their mom was playing the Ring of Starless Skies. I mean, the Ring of Starless Skies used to be just straight up in that position, the S tier, the super choice. You want to play a build, you reduce your resource cost by 50%, increase your damage by 50%, Ring of Starless Skies. Well, that's not really happening anymore because the #1 Necromancer builds are all kind of Bloodwave. And Bloodwave doesn't use resource at all. And the same goes for the Hota Barbarian, which does earthquakes either over walking, shouting, spamming whirlwind, and then Hammer of the Ancient in between. But none of these really run out of resource or in any need of that bonus damage, especially since you need the aspect slots. That would be the Vehement Brawler with 2 bonus ranks and 30% damage. That would often eclipse the 50% the Ring of Starless Skies does, and it's way easier accessible. And also the Apogeic Fuhrer, I hope I pronounced that correctly, especially for these ultimate skill spam builds that just get more and more damage with every ulti, up to 100%. The Ring of Starless Skies just simply ends up not being used, and again, kind of being disenchanted to rather make yourself a Shroud of the False Death or a Harlequin crest. Now the thing is, it ain't bad. You can just put it in almost any build, and it will be good, as long as you're spending resource. Because my Bloodwave Necker here is not spending a single point of resource. Sure, every rarely now and then for the Blight, but definitely not on the frequency to even use the Starless Sky Ring. As for my Barbarian, I could technically put it on, but I would lose my Berserker cooldown and my damage versus close, and the damage versus close I kind of need, as that boosts one of my legendary nodes to give me more damage with damage versus close. So I can't really use it as well. It's a good item you're not unhappy about, but it's simply not being used as much as before to be worthy to sit there in the S tier, despite being useful, just not this season. Now the Heir of Perdition though, that one is shining. That's the third S tier. We get our Shroud of False Death, the Harlequin crest, or in this case, Heir of Perdition now. Sure, the bonus core skills are not really needed by the builds, but the Shroud is just a simple 60% damage multiplier to whatever you're doing, while giving you tons of critical strike, lucky hit, and movement speed. The item is just all-time good. You pick up the Heir of Perdition and you just put it on. No matter what stage of the game, no matter what kind of build you're playing, apart from Cataclysm Druid, you just put the Heir of Perdition on and you're happy. Unconditional. Your damage just goes up. Everything is better. Fantastic, wholesale, amazing item. Which brings me to an interesting one, and that's the Doombringer. It used to be absolutely up here with the S tier. I mean, Season 6, Season 5, Doombringer, every single overpower build. Did you play a Boulder Druid? Doombringer. Are you going to play a Necromancer? With Blood Surge, Bloodlands, Bone Spirit, Blood Wave overpower? It was Doombringer. Doombringer with a maximum life and then more Doombringer. No questions asked. And now if we're going through the pit leaderboard and we're looking at any singular build, no matter what the overpower build actually is doing, no matter what's happening there, no one, not a single soul is playing Doombringer. And the reason is quite simple. You used to play that one-hand, off-hand combo, but now with the aspects being so good, I mean, we're talking about so good. Blood Wave fires 2 additional waves, each dealing 480% of normal damage, but you can no longer recast it until the last wave ends. I don't want this on a one-handed weapon. That's 480% damage bonus on the Blood Wave. And I'm totally fine with that. I don't want to need the Doombringer. I mean, I would almost go so far to just put it in F tier because simply I get the Doombringer. I wouldn't even remotely consider playing it. It's right now sitting in my stash, and the only thought I have is I should disenchant this to get myself a Shroud, an Heir, or a Harlequin crest instead. I'm not even remotely considering it. It's certainly not an F tier item. It just has F tier usefulness right now. The same goes for the Melted Heart of Selig. We don't even have to talk about it. There is not a single build that is in need of the Melted Heart. Nor would anyone play Nesekim the Herald or the Shattered Vow. None of these mythics is something you're going to look favorable up in. No, you're going to go to your stash, grab yourself your Doombringer, walk to the dude, and then just destroy it. Yes, gives me another Resplendent Spark. I'm sitting at 3, and I should probably just randomly craft myself a Mythic Unique Cache and hope I get something useful that is, please don't be the Melted Heart of Selig. Oh no. That is a straight up robbery. That's my second Tyrael. Oh my lord. I did not come here to be robbed like this. What's the worst thing that could happen? I get another one? Well, I don't want it, but I at least have it. But as you can see, I play every single class. I have every single character leveled up. I have top builds. And I'm not excited about, like, there's nothing happening for me. There's no, oh no, the Ring of Starless Skies. Man, that kind of sucks. Even though my Spiritborn could technically use it, but I still, like, I need other aspects. I just don't have the space. I'm sorry. Now, what about Tyrael's Visage, though? Well, what about it? How do we feel? Is this still something you're going to use? I mean, it used to sometimes have a spot up in the S tier because there were some good Tyrael's builds. And in the pit leaderboard, I could absolutely not find a single trace of Tyrael's Visage. The only thing I could dig up was our friend Vudijo, and he made some kind of Tyrael's Visage Spiritborn work. Now, I'm not sure if this is only working because of the bugged, soon-to-be-fixed witchcraft powers, or if this was just working per se, but at least someone managed to use the Visage for something. But let's be absolutely honest with each other. You're gonna get the Tyrael's Visage, and it's just another Resplendent Spark. Now, I don't have a picture of the Spear of Lacundar, but that one is also going to just be a Resplendent Spark. Right now, this season, you want Shroud, Crest, Perdition, maybe Tyrael's Might for the time being, but I want to break that one down at the one I have straight away, and the Ring of Starless just to bridge until you have the actual good ones. But these are the choices, that's what you want. Agree or disagree, ladies and gentlemen? Now, if you're looking for two builds that do profit from these mythics, Reign of Eros Rogue, absolutely insane. Or the Earthquake Barbarian, going crazy. Because yes, you could kick out the Mantles of Mountain's Fury to just play the Shroud instead. Possible.